Hello everybody, Poncianinho speaking here. This week I'm talking to my students a lot about the game and how we can approach the game in a way that is really exciting for both players. Now, of course, when we're talking about capoeira, jogo da capoeira, the game of capoeira, variação de capoeira, many ways that we can approach. And some of this there's a distinction there between playing and vadiar. There's some distinction we can make. But if I just generalize a little bit, it is a conversation. We approach in a way that is two people having a conversation. If we approach the game truly as a conversation, then almost everything that we practice, we can develop a sense of purpose, a sense of meaning behind what we practice, because we know that everything we are practicing from something that is quite physical, it is a physical art, so there are maybe something we want to say in that conversation that requires some kind of physicality. Let me just say that again, because I just want to unpack this a little bit more. If we approach the game as a conversation rather than approach from the perspective of coming from technique, right? So we practice, because what you're going to see in the video that you're going to see, it's a practice. I'm not even playing capoeira. I'm by myself learning something, practicing something. You might think, why all these details, all these little things that we do and all these different types of practice, anything that is very physical to something more theatrical and all of that. Do we need all of that? Well, it depends of what style you want to play. The answer is depend. Do we need all this kind of practice? The answer is it depends. Now, although this comment may sound very biased, I do. I feel that I don't depend on it, but it's the kind of practice that helps me to develop my game. And I have been experiencing, testing and trying for many years now, even to test if all this kind of practice, and of course we get better at the practice as well, if all this practice, from the physical practice to the musicality and the thinking and the writing, if all of this actually helps to develop the game. And the answer is, I think so, yes, I think that it does. But yes, it depends of what kind of style you're going to practice, what kind of style you're going to play. So, and this is all coming back from this perspective. So it's not that I'm practicing so I can apply the techniques in the game. It's perhaps, maybe that for beginners, that's a good way to start, but it's also that my game, it's a conversation, okay? And therefore, I practice so I can have the vocabulary, so I can understand how to communicate in my game more. That's it. Now that gives us a sense of purpose, that gives us a sense of meaning, that motivates the training, and that gets a better result after. So a parallel that I make, it's that when we write a song in capoeira, we're trying to say something. So I depart from the idea of what I'm going to say, the emotions that is going to come out in my song, and then perhaps I might need some training if I want to achieve a certain things in that song that is not quite there yet. An example of this in a game would be if you don't have the skills for handstand, and you want handstands to be part of your vocabulary, bananeiras, then of course you're going to practice bananeira and it's not related to the game yet. And maybe you start to practice your handstand and you realize that actually you need to practice quite a lot. In my case, handstand is something that came quite natural to me, if I may say. Other things didn't, believe you me, other things did not came natural to me. But if I found that I had to really go quite deep, because I teach for many years and I have so many different, I see people with different skills in handstands. Yeah? Some people are very flexible and they can't hold a handstand because they haven't got the strength to hold. Others are very strong, but they lack flexibility to do some things. I am again generalizing. So what I'm trying to say, that maybe that person will have to go deeper into handstand practice. And it may be, wall training, walking on your hands and push-ups, or maybe something where your teacher may say to you, well, we actually need to strengthen your body. I have told people that they would find much easier if they strengthen certain parts of the body. I'm not talking about the game. I was talking about muscles, building some muscles to help them to find that movement that they will then express later in the roda. Okay? So I wanted to make this video today just to explain that perspective, because I think would be an interesting idea for you as a practitioner to think, my practice is so I can increase my vocabulary and understand. And then you can really enjoy your practice. Because some people may say to me, why are you practicing all of these things? I say, well, eventually I want to turn this into a conversation. I want to have all these tools to turn into a conversation. But if the ultimate goal is not that, then your practice becomes narrow. Or let's say if your goal is just to show off a certain skill, well, then you know what to do. You just practice that skill and you're going to show off that skill. I'm not even criticizing or having a goal. I'm just saying I have seen that as well. I have seen people that they are, all they want to do is to show a certain trick, and they practice that, and the game becomes about showing that trick. And yeah, power to them if that's what they want to do. And I see others that are so deeply caring for the conversation, for the game, the very opposite of it's all about how they connect with the other and everything between those two extremes. And also those who want to be able to talk to each other in a roda, metaphorically speaking, communicate, use the body language of capoeira, but they want to have a certain amount of skills so they can actually really embellish that communication and perhaps really empower that communication. And then that becomes a job for the student and the teacher or the master or not necessarily the master, but in the case of someone who has a kind of guidance or a mentor, then it becomes a job to find what are the points, what are the common grounds, and what are more the general points, and then what are the things that are very personal to you in your communication. So I have students that when I teach something about jogo de dentro, they smile from here to here, they love it so much. When I teach something about, rasteiras or cabeçadas, they know that that's the kind of thing that they like in the game. And perhaps it's my job as a teacher to also awaken other sides of the game, to open up all this beautiful, say, yes, but have you considered also this? And then they might go, oh yeah, that's the theatrical side as well. And again, that's why we have a really a big range of things to practice. So enjoy the class. Please leave a comment. You know what to do. It helps the channel if you leave a comment, if you subscribe and all of this. I hope you enjoy. The movements you're going to see, it's a short clip, but they are related to the middle range of your practice. Okay, so I'm speaking a lot about this. We have two extremes, which is fast, strong, sharp, slow, very fluid, very controlled. And then I want you to practice the middle range, things that go in and out slightly of those two extremes. All right? Muito obrigado. Thank you so much. Enjoy. Ciao, ciao. Here. Okay, so the foot is on the floor now. Then I'm going to lift. Okay, great. So I'm here. Turn this foot out a little bit more so you're already in our position. Now, as I lift, look what's going to happen. I'm lifting this leg, I'm lunging here. My hand hasn't touched the floor yet. And then, when I go for the AU, it should be a momentum. Again, dealing with the middle range. So I'm going 1, call. This is like AU, protecting cabeçada. Turn that hand into a queda de rins position. You can see here, I'm in that posture before I fall. Then I do a rabjarraya, and I go into a esquiva. And this is actually the main part. This is the main part. So lean backwards slightly onto that back hand. So I'm leaning backwards. If I go too much, I fall. That's where you should be leaning. Then I take this foot 1 behind, yeah? So 1. Then I'm gonna bring this leg into that chamada, that AU. So he goes 1, 2, 1, 2, one side, you see?